Hey guys, Aaron Zagarba here, and today in this video we're going to be going over why is good audio so important. Let's get started. You're shooting a short film or a documentary, and of course you got the cameras, all that kind of stuff, all the fancy lenses, and then you just remembered, oh, I gotta record audio, or else I can't do this, obviously. And I think this is something that is neglected a lot of times, or not thought of as much. Most of the time, what people tend to do is they slap a microphone onto the top of their camera and record audio that way. That can work, especially in a documentary setting, especially if you're closer to the camera. And it is nice. Vloggers do it a lot too, as well. It's not always the best way to do it. And it will depend from situation to situation on how you want to record your audio. Why is it so important though? Why is it so crucial to have? Well, obviously, if you have really bad audio, people are not going to watch your video. They will pretty much immediately click off. If it's really bad, people will not sit there and watch your 15-minute, short film or whatever it is, because it's bad. It's painful for them to endure and listen to. So if it's really bad to listen to, they're not gonna watch. Even if the visuals are really good, if you have bad audio, it's just no. And personally, I prefer to have good audio over bad audio. And personally, I prefer to have better audio compared to the visual. The visuals are nice, but if you can really build a world, which is kind of the second thing that I'm coming into, you can really world build and set emotions with your audio if done right. And of course, as an example, one thing I've done in the past with my backroom short film, No Clip, I added the humming, the iconic humming sound of Backrooms that everybody is kind of familiar with now. And the idea was I was just gonna keep it through there throughout pretty much the entire film. You have that hum at some point. Now, sometimes it's more intense and sometimes it's more just kind of there. You don't really notice it, although it's still kind of there in your ear. And that just really helps emphasize that this is a part of the play. And basically, especially when it comes to some movies, they'll have maybe a soundtrack, which I also include this as good audio. If you have a really good soundtrack, especially throughout, and it's recurring, and a lot of movies also have like a buildup of that particular soundtrack or song, where it starts out in the beginning, it's, slow, calm, and it progressively grows and gets louder and louder and more intense over time, which is really a testament to good audio recording. And you can really build a world through that. You can show that emotion, and without showing it, you use sound as a medium to communicate something. And there are obviously multiple ways to do this. So I brought some things to give a demonstration of how you can kind of record good audio. Obviously, you're not always going to have access to a podcast studio like this, where you have a black backdrop, and really nice, microphone right here, and all that kind of stuff. And you can't carry that all with you. So it will really depend and varies from what you want the characters to be doing and saying and what environment they're in. One thing I really love to use is this Sennheiser shotgun mic. And you can see right there's the microphone, and you keep it in this little dead cat to stop all the wind from blowing on it, and that helps a lot. That really helps a lot with the wind, and also it gets you really good quality sound. This is perfect for dialogue and all kinds of stuff. You can even strap it to the top of your camera if you really needed to, but personally I'd prefer to put this on a boom pole. Of course, the way most people record their audio is obviously mounting it onto the camera. Normally, when I mount my mics on the camera, I'm normally very close, or I have my subjects very close to the camera. And even then, in a short film or something like that, I'm not going to use this, at least mounted on the camera. I have shot some short films with this exact mic, the Takstar mic, right here. And what I did is I just mounted it on a homemade boom pole and had someone hold it. Now, this wasn't the best way to record the audio, but at the time, I just didn't have the stuff, which also it comes down to that too. But I used the resources that I had, mounted it on a boom pole, had a wire running from the mic from the boom pole all the way to the camera. That's another thing you don't really want to do, but if you have to do it, that's fine. But in a lot of cases, you want to try to use something like this, an audio recorder. So So this is the Zoom H1N. I really love this audio recorder. It's perfect for all kinds of stuff, recording ambient sounds and all kinds of stuff like room tone. The room tone is a really good thing you want to have when it helps build the atmosphere and helps build the world around you in your film. Room tone is very important, and it's very subtle. People aren't normally going to notice it, but it makes a lot of difference. Being able to have that just basic sound other than just the audio that you're recording directly of the dialogue of the characters. And what you want to do when you record room tone, you get the audio recorder or whatever you're using to record that room tone, and then you tell everybody quiet on set, room tone, and that's the point when everybody needs to be quiet and shut up, and basically you sit there for a minute or two or whatever, recording just the sound of the room. And it could just be the sound of an air conditioning system or whatever, just a slight hum, and there's just a slight bit. Normally the human ears aren't really gonna detect it. Sometimes they will, but it really helps build out that environment. Once you record it though, put that in there, that's gonna help set that environment a lot. But anyways, back to the Zoom H1N. You can do a lot with this. Unfortunately, it does not have XLR input, which is the biggest downside of this, but it's great for that run and gun style. Now, I would highly recommend when you do get an audio recorder, either buy this first and then buy one with XLR input, whether it's Zoom, Tascam, whatever, or just buy one with XLR inputs outright and then buy this. This is really nice to have in your arsenal, just in general. Even if you have one with XLR inputs, it's really helpful because you can record, do interviews like this where you're holding it. You can obviously throw it in a bag. It's really light and small, doesn't take up much space, takes AAA batteries. And of course, I got a dead cat for it. That helps a lot with the wind noise. It also has a little thing to level your audio out with, depending on what you need to do with it. Of course, you can put low cuts, all that kind of stuff on there. It's very simple to use too. You can just give it to someone and it's very simple. You have obviously a headphone jack, monitoring, and a line in for a PRS cable. And what you can do is you can run that up to that. You could also just add a little lav and you could just have this sitting in someone's pocket, whatever it is. But this is great. Of course, one with the XLR input, let's just pretend you got your XLR inputs on this. You got an XLR cable running to this. You have one of these microphones. What you can do is you can have your audio guy, whoever is your designated person for audio running this. They can have it, strapped to their side or whatever bag you're gonna put it in or however you're gonna kind of hold it. And basically what you can do is you can have that set up. A lot of the XLR audio recorders tend to also have their own little leveling meter for each individual channel or each individual XLR input, so you can individually adjust each microphone if you're going to run multiple microphones. Sometimes you'll run one main microphone like this, and you can also run basically a bunch more for backups. Sometimes that would be like a lavalier mic as a backup in case for some reason this mic breaks, your primary mic. It's not preferred, but in a situation like that, that really helps. Of course, just learning how to play around with your audio recorders, that's what I highly recommend, is just learn what sound is. Learn how to shape it and learn how different rooms work with sound, because also the different environments, even if it's just a warm day outside or a wet and rainy day, that will change your audio. And you wouldn't think about it, but these little bitty things, they all go into changing your audio. And if you put some strategic thought in how you're going to film it, what day, what time, all that kind of stuff will change how it sounds. And that's the really interesting thing about audio and why it's so important. It can really make your audience really feel something. That's why a lot of horror movies, when they do a jump scare, they have that noise, that dun, the piano, like dun, and the build up to that jump scare, like where they just like dun dun dun, and like they just slowly build it up. And you can, and it's not just the visuals, but it's that sound and those tones and everything that is automatically making your brain go like, oh no, something is about to go down, something is happening. And even in action movies, everything like Predator and stuff like that, you always have, a lot of times in a lot of movies, just that build-up. However they decide to do it, it makes you feel something and you know what is happening. And that's where your brain automatically goes to, naturally. And that's why audio is so important. Not just getting good sounding, pretty sounding, voices or whatever when you're recording, but also just being able to build out that world and really being able to just show that emotion and the way you're able to build it out. Because at the end of the day, really good audio and strategically done audio in editing and stuff like that can really change your film. Hope you guys liked today's video. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah, but then I can see the whole phone.